evening or morning, however you want to look at it. Welcome to Mystics Notebook once again. We got Randy Lyons, Federal Jr., Wilson Carplay Jr. And look, the Mystics they ended a road trip out west tonight. Unfortunately, they dropped their third consecutive game. The second half woes continued. The Mercury beat the Mystics 77-64. Monster night from Brittany Griner, which, no one should be shocked. We saw her. She had a dominant performance throughout the Olympics. She was also having a good season before the Olympics started. She kept them in it when Washington had a lead in the first half, and then third quarter woes kind of, the same thing we watch almost three games come to fruition in a different way. It happened again for Washington. This might have been the worst one yet from a point standpoint. Um, you know, Legs look super heavy. Shots did not fall at all. I think they scored just 20 in the second half. For a little while, it was stuck on 13. But we'll start with you guys. We want to see what you guys thought about it. Ray, we'll start with you and then go to Cardell.
Uh, man, I know they can't wait to get back home, man. This was a tough road trip for them. Like you said, they dropped three games in a row. All seem to have the same recipe. They come out, play well in the first half. I believe they went into the half each one of those games with leads. Then come out in the third quarter, the other team makes adjustments, and the misses just aren't able to respond. Tina, she had big first halves in each of the games. Then the second half, they just kind of cut that faucet off and force other people to beat them, and they just haven't been able to. Ariel had a rough night tonight. She was 2 for 16, but she she wasn't by herself. They shot 28% as a team. Like it's hard to win a basketball game like that. And credit Phoenix's defense. They were bothersome and they were annoying, and the Mixers just couldn't get anything going. You know, I don't know like what the answer to this is. If it's a strategic thing or just a players thing or a combination of both. But to lose three games in identical ways in a row, that's got to be some cause for concern. Because the road doesn't get any easier, and they need to start winning like ASAP. So and the other teams are seeing this. So there's it seems to be a recipe to beat them. You know, they start off strong, but then once you go in the locker room at halftime and kind of see what they're doing that works, and they don't have a counter for it, then once you take that away, it's just easy pickings. So so yeah, man, I'm sure they're frustrated by it. It's a rough way to start off the second half of the season, especially given the position they're in the standings. So so yeah, man, they finally get back to some familiar and comforting surroundings on Sunday, but they're facing another top team in the league, so it's not like the road's going to get any easier from here. I mean, yes, it wasn't too much positive to take from this game. That third quarter was brutal. They were outscored 21-9. That pretty much was the game right there. They were never able to regain their footing. And Phoenix just kept driving the point home. Brittany Griner, she pretty much carried the load the first half. Then once Skylar Diggins Smith woke up and joined the party, that's all they needed to kind of get them over the hump. So yeah, man, another disappointing loss for the Mystics. Hopefully they can turn this thing around soon, or this season might be might be all she wrote.
Cardell.
It's just mental toughness. As a team, they don't have the mental toughness. I'm just the way they've lost these last three games, which is pretty much an adjustment at halftime, and they come out, and it's not just that the other teams are walking them down, but it's like a back and forth affair. They hitting with huge runs. Like I think the 21-6 run for the Mystics scored another bucket late in the third quarter to kind of stop the bleeding. That's when you have a halftime lead. It's just that deflates you, and it's on both ends. It's like when the other team go on a run, they just fall apart and they stop defending, and then they start pressing offensively. and they don't have the weapons to press offensively. They got to play a certain style when they move the ball and everybody touch it, and is a threat, and they have to rely on Tina and Ariel kind of carrying the offensive load, and that creates opportunities for others. But obviously, Tina, she had a battle with Brittany down there. You know what I'm saying? Even Turner, you know, you got to throw her in there. She's an elite shot block. She's right there with Griner towards the top of the league. So they have great interior presence defensively. So I knew Tina was going to have to battle. I was expecting Maisha to kind of wake up, but she hasn't had a good game probably since the first Aces game coming out the break. And you know, and Ariel was off. Then it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Because the others, they're not consistent enough offensively putting the ball in the hole where you can kind of, you know, with all right, they'll pick up the slack, and then teams know that, you know, and that's just basically what they're doing. You know, they figure out what the Mystics are doing, and then they're sending bodies at Tina and Ariel, and saying somebody else beat us, and no one has gotten close to proving them wrong. Like, yeah, we can beat you, and that's where it is. But it's just the thing I guess I'm disappointed in, and then fine, you can be off offensively, but defense is the one end of the floor where you can always bring it, and that's just a will, that's just a want to, you know what I mean? And I understand it's a long road trip or whatnot, but y'all had like a month off, you know, outside Tina and Ariel. I get they was trying to get someone get trying to battle back from injuries, but you had a month off. You know, I don't understand what the fatigue, you know, or the lack of energy is all about, man. Like you had a month off. You should be hitting the ground running or whatnot. Like, yeah, we about to make this push. And it's like the opposite effect. Like they've been playing, they didn't have a month off. Like they've been playing this entire time or whatnot. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just they're better than what they're showing. I'm not saying they're at the championship level, but they're better than what they're showing. And that's what's disappointing, man. So now you have 11 games left. You 5 games under 500, and you in the 10th spot. You know what I mean? And you got Seattle on Sunday. I know you got a nice little home stretch, but you got some tough teams you got fighting the home stretch. And I know players play better at home or whatnot, but it's playoff time. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna get that leeway no more. That home stretch that you might have got in the first half of the season won't be there in the second half. So now they coming in not playing games. They trying to get you up out of it. They see what you've been going through, so they're gonna try to punch you in the mouth and get you up out of there quick and get rest. So these home games are going to be like playoff games, and the mental toughness that we've been seeing the last 3 games. Can you trust the fact that this team will pull it together and become mentally tough enough to win enough games at home to get back in the playoff mix? I don't know. You know what I mean? You, all right, fine. Let's say Delanon do return. Okay, but she's gonna be rusty. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't count on her to be MVP Delanon. Like she coming in just on some Willis Reed stuff, man. Look, I'm gonna average 30. We gonna make this push. If she does, great. It'd be a hell of a move, but that's not realistic. Not coming off 2 back surgeries. You know, that's just that ain't what this. That's not realistic, and that's unfair to her to even expect her to come in. She's going to get some rhythm. She going to get used to playing with them. They going to get used to playing with her. So with that being said, and that still won't change the fact when she needs to go to bench and be on, and she's probably gonna be on minutes restriction. It's still not gonna change the fact when certain players come in the game. Can you hold the fort down? You know what I mean? So yeah, they had some soul searching to do, and it's like Ariel Atkins alluded to the other day after the Aces game. It's like we got to figure this out, and it's nothing the coaching staff can do. You know, it's on us. So if you hear a player say that, one of their best players say that, you know, who am I to disagree? You know, I'm just echoing what I'm saying, man. It should never be a 21-6 run coming out of halftime. I get like maybe a 12-6 run. All right, stop the bleeding, timeout. Yo, get your stuff together and run your stuff. 21-6, that's unacceptable, man. You know what I mean? So they gotta find a way to get tough. Well, yeah, they will be in a position to get a lot of rest soon. The season will be over.
Yeah, and then post game, I think it was Leilani and Maisha that spoke. Obviously, coach spoke first, and coach didn't really go straight to the. He was in considering how this road trip went. Obviously he's been around for a long time, been through things like this. He was in pretty decent spirits. He was just talking about like at least tonight, like it's not often that the type of shooters they have shoot that bad. That Lay's kind of played him in effect to a degree tonight, but at the same time, somehow it's still not an excuse. He also talked about what you were just mentioning, Cardell. Like his quote was, "We need everybody. This is not a team that can just get by with just two players leading them. It's too hard in this league. Like this is a different group than even the group last year, honestly.
Mhm.
And it's definitely a different group from the year before. So you know, they're talking about trying to find that third person. He was also mentioning some of the folks that came back are still on restricted on minutes restriction. And you know that portion of the game where we didn't see Cloud, so she hurt her foot again tonight. They don't know how bad it is, but you know the injury thing's not really leaving. And then for Leilani and Maisha, they kind of both echo the thing where they don't really care about, you know, they don't want to hear anything about the excuses. Just like Leilani said, they got to just play smarter out the halves. Like they do dumb stuff coming out the half. They we see them execute their offense, do what they're supposed to do on both ends for a half, and then third quarter is like Jekyll and Hyde, and they're just like they got to figure it out. You know, Maisha's just like they. Speaking for her and Atkins, like they haven't experienced not making the playoffs yet in their young WNBA careers. They're not, so for them specifically, they're not trying to make, they don't want this year to be the first. It seems like, they all understand, again, just from those two, gleaning from those two, how important this homestand is. But, while Coach T kind of, he did his job kind of not trying to take some of the pressure off his group or whatnot, with not really saying it's a heavy sense of urgency. The players are saying it is like red alert from a sense of urgency standpoint.
Of course.
So,
But that goes back to mental toughness. That's when teams make adjustments and take you out of your comfort zone and what you're trying to do, are you mentally tough as a team to still stand strong and do and execute the way you're supposed to? They're going to make adjustments, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm hearing in those comments, man. Like we still got to do what we got to do. We're not good enough to just be like, Tina and Ariel, they get 30. Even if they get 30 tonight, it still wouldn't have been enough. You know what I'm saying? It's just other players have to still play, be aggressive, and play basketball. So it comes back to that, man. When you panic and get away from what works at the slightest discomfort when the team make an adjustment, that's a lack of mental toughness, man. And you know that has to change. And he's right. I like what he said. Like last year, they had a few players they can go to at different times. It was Maisha, it was Ariel, it was Tiana. You know what I mean? Ariel, the other Powers. They had like four players they can go to when they were healthy that can score or make a play. So it kept teams off balance or whatnot. Plus, they were all dogs. You know what I mean? Like Ariel, but both Ariels was a dog. Maisha,
Mhm.
they gonna get physical. They gonna play defense. They gonna do what they need to do. They don't have that now. So um, they got to figure it out, man. Because it is urgency. You got 11 games to figure this out, and you 5 games below 500. You know what I mean? So like I said, if they weren't that good, I'd be like, hey, man, that's what we knew coming in. I wouldn't be tripping, but they better than what they're showing.
yeah.
Um,
And they
you got to
show
figure
us
it out.
that. My bad, not to cut you off. Like, and they've shown us that bad teams don't consistently get up on good teams to that degree on a regular basis. Like they've routinely built double digit leads against good teams. We've seen them beat good teams at times this year. Staying with it is huge. And again, the margin for error within the last 3 years, this group has the smallest margin for error because of the injuries. The people that aren't, the people that were out for the year, etc. Like I'm taking Alicia Clark off the table. I'm taking Elena off the table because, like you said, even if she comes back, she mentioned this when someone's like, I've had someone on my back before for some else, like you learn how to walk again, how to move again, or whatever. Man, that's a whole additional thing on top of like that's life to deal with first, and then basketball, and then getting your rhythm back. This is someone who missed 2 seasons. Like she can't be the savior. So like you
Mhm.
said, they have to mentally get themselves out of this place. And the only thing you got in your favor is you got home games. But again, like you have to capitalize on it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Like for a team that moves the ball, this well, they had 9 freaking assists tonight.
They couldn't hit shots, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. What you said, like bad teams don't get up on good teams. Yes, they do when they don't take you serious.
Well, all right, that's fair. But
You know what I'm saying? So because they guess what they saying? These are like Tina said that after they lost today, so like teams are starting to see like we know we can come back in the second half. We ain't tripping. Like even the Mercury, they didn't even play well. It's just that Griner killed and Scholar killed. So Rossi wasn't tripping. Nobody else was really aggressive because they was hey, just keep feeding them. It's like a nonchalant. We'll walk them down, and that's exactly what they're doing. You know what I mean? And the Mercury are 12-10. It's not like they're killing the league either.
right.
They have top tier talent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, but nah, man. That's what happens when you don't take a team serious. You come out there, it's the dog days, man. You're not taking them serious, and they jump out. All right, let's stop playing. Let's stop playing, ladies, and get at these girls. And that's what they're doing. So they got to change that perception, and starts with a tough one on Sunday. You beat the Storm. That'll kind of kill a little bit of the noise. Like, all right, we can easily come back and beat them.
No, you're right. They gotta. They this homestand is a whole lot. Like,
Got to determine the season.
yeah,
Period.
Yeah.
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 Quickly, we're gonna know exactly what we're looking at. You looking forward to next year, or potentially earning a playoff spot? Because what is it? It's Storm on Sunday, Sparks on Tuesday, and this is the NECA version. She's back. The Wings on Thursday. The Wings again on Saturday, and then they got Connecticut coming in here on the 31st in August.
And Connecticut just took over the top seed in the entire league. Like John Quill, they not playing, man. That's what I'm saying. Seattle got them in the Commissioner's Cup. All right, that's what I mean by good teams. All right, we gonna cut that out. And they haven't lost since.
Yeah, this, like I said, this is up to them.
Yep.
That's the only the only cliches out, but they control their own destiny. It's right in front of them. What they do with it, we'll find out. But like I said, I think what we can all agree on, like you mentioned earlier, like they are better than what we've seen as of late. But it's on them to make sure to determine whether this year is something you just throw away and forget, or they salvage it in some way, shape, fashion, or form. So they got a couple days, and then Seattle, and Seattle's rested a couple of their other players in previous games. Fully expect Seattle to, I expect all hands on deck Seattle come Sunday. I would be very shocked if they're not. So
Hey, dog. They got to fly across the country. They not coming here to play games.
Yeah.
We come here to smack y'all.
Nah, I mean, you're right though. Like, we'll see what they're made of. Like, you find out real quick, man. It's just really, really simple. They either pull themselves out of this, or there's a lost year, and then that can lead into the roster looking differently next season, even more so than some may have expected. So we'll see. But appreciate y'all hanging with us tonight. Don't forget, always get over to thefocustv.com. We will be back very, very soon.